Hello and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons. And lose people yet again. Yay, family events. But, at the very least, it's somebody that, in a setting like this, I can turn around and say, Farrah is going to go do research because...
She do that.
Well, there's a lot to research about, in where you are, because currently you are in Anbir, home of the Heavens Ward, and basically surrounded by knowledge about, and in most cases, worship of every god that has ever been. If they don't actively worship them, there's still information about them somewhere. Currently, the reason you're there is because Remi et al. Were Remi specifically, but everybody else going along because, ride or die with frosting, were tasked to free the Protector Asmar from the quasi-benevolent house arrest they are currently under for their own safety. Which, is technically true, and a lot of it's down to at least the captain of the Scourge Azamar guards having some significant PTSD issues, but still, the plan was for LSA to basically infiltrate and try to encourage people that you're not going to get tainted just by stepping outside the city limits, I promise, kind of thing. That kind of went according to plan and kind of not, because it turns out that the means they are willing to go to, the ends they're willing to go to keep someone in and kind of terrified were rather more than people expected. There is an anti-magic field over the city. The only things that are exempt are like 2 floors of tower. LSA has broken out, at least of the tower, multiple times, but currently is, according to sources, under some kind of long-term sleep spell, which probably comes with nightmares of the this is why you should be afraid of going out there variety. Nobody's entirely sure exactly how long that's going to last, but that's a question that can probably be answered at the meeting that Clarity, Barnabus, and Remi have with one of the Scourge guards, reportedly Adelaide, at Her Grace's Bower. After your dinner that really weirdly reminded Barnabus so much of home. It was fairly late by that point, but you still got a couple of hours to kill before 3 of you break off and go do the do. So, what are you going to do meantime? Although Flitty, who's been largely hiding in Ryland's scarf because the Alana, one of the immortal Mobius twins, is kind of terrifying with her biological interest in things, and kind of pokes out. Should we at least all go look and see where Her Grace's Bower is, so that, because I can't read signs. If I need to send messages or something, somebody better show me, please.
Is that Draconic or Sylvan?
Definitely agree with that.
Sylvan, because, well, Ryland, because trying to be quiet is still a little... Well, just kind of, I live here now.
No.
I mean, did come out to eat his way out of a bagel and probably kind of eviscerated a pierogi. Well,
Rude.
still dragon. It's just claws, teeth. No.
Dying.
Oh, I just see, Clarity again doing, little apex predator. And so it's just... So yes, and anybody who does not speak Sylvan or have a helm of comprehend languages heard adorable peeping and saw more scritches.
Yes. Flitty suggests that we go find the Grace Bower, which I concur.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Just see where it is.
That's a good plan.
Definitely.
I agree.
I can stay with them in case they need to they need to call for backup. Needing reinforcements to stem the tide. The Cupcake Coterie calls for aid. Apparently, Alice has told this story enough that Flitty actually knows it.
Oh no.
Amazing.
That was what the Alice lady said about the puppies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. It does mean I'll have to not live in the scarf for a little while.
Well, that's okay. There's enough of this scarf that you can have some air.
No. I mean, because if they need your help, I need to be with them, and you're not going.
Yes, right. Brain mincing words.
That's okay. I can hide behind the braid. I don't match so well with the braid now. Sorry.
Mm.
No. Also, though, no braid anymore.
Oh, yes. Well, don't match the hair anyway. Although I could just be a really interesting big green bow. Could be an aigre fashiony thing.
Yeah, like a hair ornament.
Nicholas out of the scarf left was like, hair ornament.
You match my armor.
And I guess for a fluttery thing that matches your hair, you have your moth. She has a plushy moth. I don't know why you're looking behind you.
Yes. Plus moth.
Aww.
This one looks a little more realistic and is in various shades of powdery blue, but and yeah, just kind of flip.
It was a going away gift from Darwin.
Aw.
Probably also got sapphire kind of boom boom. And then back into the bag. Yeah. Except scritches and back into the bag.
An endless parade of cute and fluffy.
Yes,
And I say this around just giggling like an absolute dumbass.
at this point, you're. I'm gonna say you've got enough time to do at least a basic tour while you're looking for the place, which is apparently a little ways off the Street of Song, into less of a street than a district that seems to be more along, frighteningly enough, a little bit more along the Tritherian lines. But it does involve a certain amount of going around some of the other streets from where you are. The street coded for Obad High is interesting. It's a lot of adventurer supplies and people selling the kind of hunt trophies that would make even some of the more hardcore brass arrows sit up and take notice. A little ways further on, you start hearing music. Because not very far off that kind of area is the Street of Song, and once you cross the intersection and get onto it, apparently there's some kind of sound baffle around that street so that the noise isn't across the entire neighborhood. But once you cross over into that road, music. Somehow, despite it being a number of different styles and more instruments than any of y'all have heard ever, it still meshes well together. Some different people are playing different songs all the way along the street, and more is coming from the windows of various pubs, venues, that kind of thing. But it all still works together. This is probably the only street you've seen that doesn't have a shrine in it somewhere, because everybody here is worshipping by doing. So mostly it's venues and music shops. And there's Darvin in particular is just being like, because again, this you don't know what that is. You don't know what that is. There's a Goliath playing a cello like you would play a viol. There's a gnome with a very large drum kit who's playing it rather well, but as much like an acrobat as anything else. And there are some instruments that you're damn sure came out of Agraf. And as you pass by, and people catch a look at you, the songs kind of change. Like they're singing and playing apparently about what they're seeing, and right now what they're doing is capturing you in music as best they can, because not necessarily because your adventures are particularly famous, it's just you're here and you're interesting. And that's Darvin. And from the top of Clarity's head, is the singing man alright?
He makes faces sometimes. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, but they're not usually that face.
You okay, Darvin?
I worry when he
He's
doesn't
literally
talk.
walking around, like following, like, yeah, okay.
I'm gonna reach for his ear.
Yeah, like there's no there's no physical shrine, but Darvin is definitely seeing, like, Darvin is like seeing in his mind's eye, like the music itself is sort of.
The music itself is the prayer, yes. They are showing their affection for their god in the way that the god would appreciate most. It doesn't need a fancy shrine, it just needs, I mean, there's some, as you pass them by, they have no instruments, but they sound like they're playing instruments. And you know the a cappella kind of pentatonics kind of thing. Like that. So yeah, he's just kind of, I see Darvin briefly looking for instruments and going, they're doing that just their voices are just doing that?
His head's basically on a swivel because he's trying to get his ears to focus on everything all at once.
You keep spinning, you're going to fall over worse than I do.
I just worry when he gets this quiet.
That's basically doing the Darwin equivalent of Hazel.
Yeah. And hence, I worry when he gets this quiet. I don't think I've ever heard him this quiet.
I wish you could see what I hear.
What do you
What?
mean?
I don't know if my audio is coming through.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It's just
Out of character.
people did not understand what you were talking about. That's why the expressions. Synesthesia does not necessarily exist. Well, to be fair, it kind of does, because if Darvin wants to explain, it can be, Hazel, you remember when you were saying that if the soup tastes too purple?
Again.
That's the kind of thing I was talking about.
Is my audio coming through?
Yeah. Yes. is ours? I don't think he's hearing us.
That's probably the problem.
Yeah.
Does somebody want to type at him? And of course, if he's on full screen, he might not see it either. Hang on, let me.
Well, he was typing in the chat below, so
Yeah, but I can't see that because.
no, I know. I'm letting you know.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Can you hear us?
I'm guessing not.
That doesn't sound like it.
Hmm.
If all else fails, try roll 20.
Hmm.
I'm gonna probably try and reset some things.
It's
Of course,
like
of course, it had to be when we were doing the thing that was supposed to most appeal to Darwin.
like the tasting purple thing, except it's sound. That's different.
I think the Lyra lady had a word for that, but I can't pronounce it, and I don't think it exists in Sylvan. When you see noises or taste colors or.
There seems to be a particular energy to all these.
Either way, it's one of those. I can see through time.
Seems like it, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like when the Hazel Lady goes to a really pretty shrine.
A little bit. A lot of it. Probably very yes.
Who did we lose? Lindira now.
Ethan again.
We just that was a really random cutout.
Yeah, because
yeah.
looking at. Oh, boy.
Oh God.
You know what? We're nearly at break time. If somebody could type to those two that we're taking our break early to let them get things sorted out, because this is getting a little bit ridiculous, and everyone needs to kind of deal with stuff. I think. We'll have to see how this session goes. I'm kind of glad it's a stalling session, or we'd be incredibly boned. Yeah, we're gonna do the break thing now because we don't know how long Ethan's gonna be. So.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And we're back.
QAnon.
And we're back. Well, more like we're just starting, really, because that did not go. That did not start well. But we're stalling. We're okay. Yes, currently we are in the Street of Song, and Darwin is talking about "I wish you could see what I hear," and trying to explain the concept of synesthesia. Which Flitty is going. Lyra Lady talks about that sometimes, but it doesn't have a word in Sylvan, and I can't pronounce the common one. Man, I hope he's supposed to be muted. Yes, is Darwin going to finish that explanation or just have to be guided down the street?
I don't even know if he'd even have any clue of that word himself, but
Roll me an intelligence check.
Just a whole lot of.
Roll me an intelligence check.
I can hear you fine when you say it at the time you say it, but I have audio lag responding back, so apologies. One moment. It is loading again. Somehow it unloaded.
It's a day.
It might be faster if you roll it, only because everything is loading on my end. For some reason, it unloaded. Probably when my satellite went down.
Well, I'm not sure what your int modifier is, but my usual dice luck applies. Yes, you do know the term. Your mother probably taught it to you when you were trying to explain how music looked to you, and your father was. You're thinking back on it now, he was probably concerned, but you just thought he was being an asshole at the time. But your mother did sort of take you aside and say there is a word for this. So yes, you do have the word.
So so long story short, Darwin basically babbles a little bit, some full words, trying to wrap his head around how to explain what he's going through, and then just blurts out synesthesia real loud. Just there it is. That's the thing.
Given their int scores, Barnabus and Clarity do know that word. The rest of you would have to roll for it unless you have decided that just no, you don't.
I was reaching for Darvin's ear as he was like sort of half babbling, and then he yells that, and I just fall over.
Remi isn't exactly tuning it out, but it's just
in one ear and out the other. Yeah.
Yep.
No, nobody's getting into any kind of trouble
Yeah.
with the authorities. You're fine. Okay.
I'm going to roll
Now-
on the
Perfect.
check because I heard the word at full blast in one ear.
Yes, you remember Darwin actually
I
explained.
didn't think I was that close, but okay.
Yes, Lyra has explained that one to Hazel. That's how Flitty knew about it. Darwin somehow managed to explain that word to Ava at one point, because despite what his father said, he actually thought it was pretty neat.
Right. You can see the sound. Like there's walls
Like the tasting purple
and an
thing.
altar and
The thing is that with that you can also see you.
no, wait, yeah.
Because they're playing what they see as well, you can also see you.
When he realizes that, that's what having a moment. They're describing us in sound and music as well, and so now I'm there and I'm here and but I don't remember casting that. Wow, that's what that feels like.
Yeah. Of course,
And at that point, I think somebody might want to just put their hand in the small of his back and just go.
Yeah, because it's either that or he's going to start noticing that there are actually instrument shops and start pressing his nose up against them. Like,
Gonna get up. Finally,
Exactly.
go
So
back
yeah,
up to behind Darvin,
just start
shoving.
pushing, dragging.
yeah, Hazel is
Move
shoving.
the music man.
Move the music, man.
Yeah, he's not resisting, so it's not. You're not being a flying buttress or anything.
I'll keep near it so it doesn't, like,
Not having to do that entirely, but just like
come
shoulders
to the
back.
floor
Let's go.
by mistake.
Yeah, it's the Street of Song is a fairly long one, and you probably have to keep telling Darwin we'll come back. We will come back. Do you want to deny Alice the chance to wander around here?
Oh yeah, she's gonna love this place.
Probably at the mention of Alice, that's what snaps him out of it. He's like, "Okay, right, we have a thing," and he'll start moving of his own volition at that point.
Yeah. You're starting to get to the side street that you're going to want to take. At the very end of the Street of Song from where you are, looking over the junction, you can see the. I mean, this is the most beautiful place you have ever seen. This must be the Street of Love and Beauty. This is clothes. I mean, you're only seeing it from across a road, but you can see sort of flowered arches and pretty little multicolored lights. And there's, obviously venues of negotiable affection, but there's also art galleries, florists, clothes shops, jewelry. This is where all the beauty is, and you're probably going to want to go down there at some point too, but I mean, it's still open even this late, so clearly this is yet another way of worshiping for these people. They don't just go to a shrine and pray, they live prayer. Down the side street, this is, according to the sign, you're looking at the Way of Justice. So there's flavor of Palor, there's flavor of Bahamut, and there's flavor of Tritherian in their various justice aspect. It's kind of short on pubs or venues or anything like that. Mostly there seems to be judiciary buildings, places where you can look up the laws of various places and petition for various different judgments. There's one building that literally has a sign above it reading, "Am I the asshole?" Where you can literally walk in and get a bunch of priests and explain a thing that happened, asking on a on a level of justice, was I the asshole in this situation?
An IRL Reddit thread.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. But there is, sort of towards the end of the street, there is a single venue. And yeah, the sign is a little rougher hewn than you'd expect from someplace called Her Grace's Bower. It's got an oldie English pub kind of look to it, right down to the makeshift tables with barrels set with planks over top outside. The sign is wood embossed with brass, and it's quiet. Nobody seems to be outside at the moment, but you're not hearing anything from inside. The lights are on.
I'm having World's End Pub in Camden flashbacks.
This looks from the outside actually a little smaller. One of those ones that you see sort of on a corner. It's kind of like the World's End, but a whole lot smaller. Like, you remember there was like 3 different rooms to it and an upstairs? It's about the size of just that one room we were sitting in. But that's from the outside, that's the general feel you're getting, yes. So yeah, here you are.
Oh, we found it, looks like.
So,
And
scouting run successful?
Yeah, currently you've got about an hour before your midnight-ish rendezvous. So it's up to y'all what you want to do for the next hour. And just give me a general rundown, and you've got Faraday going with this look on her face that is suddenly like, everybody's going to be up until past midnight, and I don't have a bedtime.
Uh-oh.
and then
Oh,
just
no.
goes, everybody's going to be doing their own thing, but I know you guys talked about while we were here, maybe trying to do some research on some of the bad gods we were fighting. And
Mhm.
I mean, maybe I can, and I don't want to leave Barnabas and Clarity out of it, because they probably know more about it than I do, because Clarity at least has been with you guys since the beginning. But I could do some preliminary scouting, see what buildings we want.
That sounds great.
Sounds like quite the perfect idea.
So yeah, I won't be too late, and you know what? I guess it doesn't matter. You guys are gonna be pretty late anyway, so we're all probably sleeping in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take notes.
Be careful.
I think I'm probably okay here.
Here's a
I don't think we'd want to send Clarity or Barnabas on their own though, which is why it's a good thing they're going here.
Mm-hmm.
And off she jumps.
Here's a thought. How close do we need to be during the meeting, just in case? I'm not expecting anything untoward, but
Well, from Flitty, I can find y'all from the air pretty easy. So if you wanted to just like look at stuff.
Yeah, maybe stick around in the
thank you for
neighborhood.
quickly, because I was thinking if
Well, I mean, there's the
Right.
there's the shine. Well, you wanted to say the shiny music place for the Alice lady, but there's the place with all the shopping and the flowers and the everything. I bet they got pretty places to look at.
yeah, we could just hang out on that street for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm torn between wanting to stay orbit and be concerned me at this whole situation, especially you.
At which point, Flitty lands on Hazel's shoulder. No! Every time you get that kind of worried, bad happens. You need
Exactly.
a distraction. Go look at the
Exactly.
pretties.
I mean, also,
Thank you.
Literally hopping up and down. Go
We'll
look
be-
at the pretties.
I mean, there's also the fact that
We'll be close enough, Hazel.
But also,
Yeah,
let's not forget that
I know.
Yep.
That's honestly where I was going with that. I'm torn between wanting to stay in orbit and knowing what's going to happen when I stay in orbit.
well, that, and we don't want to. We don't.
So,
No.
Flitty?
If we're only having the three of them meet, sorry, I'm blanking on the name.
Yeah.
Adelaide.
Adelaide. If they see someone else like hovering, that might like make them a bit suspicious, which probably don't.
Well, I think it would more be distracty because I don't think the Adelaide lady would have asked to talk to you guys if she didn't think that you could help.
True.
Everybody else seems to be talking about how she doesn't like things. So I don't think she's gonna pounce you or anything. But if she does, then I will know somebody's here and then I'll fly for help.
Before that, I ask, point me at a pretty thing.
There's a whole street of pretty.
Here, if you can, if he's nearby, find me Frank, the roasted nut guy, who has the better roasted nuts. I want
Can do.
better
I'm
roasted
going to walk
nuts.
over to Clarity, kiss the bejesus out of her, and just beeline towards the street.
Oh boy.
I was gonna say.
I will.
You said point you at a pretty thing. I'm like, Clarity's right there.
Well, given you guys are gonna have to be following her because she's already inhuming.
Yeah, it was probably fun.
Very briefly, what you guys see, because the you have to go through the entire street of Love and Beauty to get to sort of wrap around to the other side of the street of plenty. So there is so much pretty. I mean, this is any really fancy high class shopping area in a major metropolitan area.
Mhm.
Art galleries, really high end, bespoke tailoring, and y'all get stopped by a human handing out basically leaflets, uh, who is apparently doing a 3 for 2 offer on makeovers. And Darwin is. Well, it would definitely be a way to kill some time. And weirdly,
Which out of character was exactly my thought.
Well,
I'm like,
weirdly, Rylan is apparently not getting pointed at the whole idea of makeover, as they're looking at the scarf and they're just saying that is so avant-garde.
Rylan, having no idea what that means, is just confused.
That is going to be the trend this season. I can already tell.
Oh look,
Mwah!
the elf is popular.
In fact, now he's starting to notice that he is getting looks of very much approval. Apparently, they think he is a snack. I'm not entirely sure that they actually understand the looks that they're getting, but
yes.
they're definitely approval.
They don't. In character, they super don't.
Is anybody going to? Because Rylan is just getting everybody
Darwin is
staring at me.
delighted at this whole thing. Just
Yeah, apparently Darwin is delighted at you getting stared at by people.
Just slide
What is
over,
going on?
grab them by the arm. They all want to jump your bones, and in a way that you're probably not prepared for.
Of course, I'm pretty sure Rylan doesn't know that euphemism.
Also, no. And out
Yeah,
of character,
I
I've also
learned that.
never heard that before.
I've heard it. I've heard it a lot, but anyway, yes, no. Somebody's going to have to explain what that means because currently, Rylan apparently has mental images of being flayed alive.
No, Rylan. We're not. No one's gonna steal your bones.
That's literally what you just said, though.
And I mean,
Jumping
come
your
on.
bones is different. They all. And I'm gonna lean up and whisper. They all want to have sex with you.
they fancy you.
Yes, that one
Yes,
you
there you go.
understand. And you kind of imagine Rylan peeping. I live here now.
Rylan's turning the scarf. I am a being of scarf now.
Rylan's turning the scarf, I think, is the line of the night.
Being your scarf. He only knows Eldrade Limited.
And the person offering the makeover is just going, "Aw, they're adorable."
So who wants an elf?
This is fine.
This is
Hey,
just
now,
the
consent is a thing.
Yeah, you do in fact get once you say that, you get everybody who's in earshot approach you, and they don't look happy.
Approaching Hazel.
Yes.
Apologies, that was a terrible joke.
One of these people is a very large human. Grab. Lift. Fairly gently, but clearly you follow another path. But that is an act we revere. Don't. You wouldn't like it if we did that to anything that you consider sacred.
Just not understanding. Very respectful getting out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Hazel should have known better because she'll realize after that I mean she's literally been with Kizzy, who was a devotee of Sune. She knows how seriously they take this shit.
Yep. And just kind of, yeah, this is me and Hazel both spacing out in terms of who, what, where, and when, and then positing afterwards. Yeah, nah, in hindsight, that was the worst joke I could have made.
The person offering the makeovers looks at Riley, going, "We're appreciative of how you look, and the style is phenomenal. But just because people think you're attractive doesn't mean you need to be scared. No one here
That
will."
is not the thing I was scared of.
What are you scared of then?
This one explained the words I didn't understand is you going to steal my bones.
That's not what I said. I said the opposite of that, you know it. And then I made a worse joke.
Let me guess. You've been up to the Bone Orchard. Did you sign a waiver at any point? Are you still alive?
You think so?
Then no, nobody's going to take your bones.
Okay.
Not
Reassuring.
not unless you consent is everything.
That being exactly why my joke was so and even worse received.
Yeah, you messed up.
Remembering why I'm where I am is definitely something to do.
You know, if you're tired enough to be forgetting where you are, there's an art cafe about 3 doors down.
Praise Paylor. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And yeah, it's close to the end of the street, so you will be able to pick up the better roasted nuts for clarity. They do smell a bit better. There seems to be an extra bit of uh, sort of sweet spicy to the honey, so it's possible it's a different kind of honey, or they add some cinnamon or something like that.
Accruing nuts, finding an appropriate place in the art cafe, and just hiding in a corner.
Yeah, I mean the place is beautiful. It's there's very much a modern art feel, but it's a very chill modern art sort of thing. It's all muted colors and the suggestion of landscape without actually being landscape. And again,
Not an Art Deco hell.
definitely not an Art Deco help. And they do have the very good coffee, and apparently they are known for some of the best strawberry cheesecake in the city.
I have plans for this place later. For now, just gonna, again, pastry, coffee, hiding in a corner.
So we'll assume that you guys are pastry, coffee, hiding in a corner. Is anyone trying
Yes.
the cheesecake?
Yes.
You're not
Yes,
there.
please.
You're
Uh,
not
You remember you're one of the three. Maybe you'll get lucky, and when they taste, because this is absolutely glorious fucking cheesecake.
I would probably think, oh, they'll want to try this. So
Yeah, you guys, any of you who are eating it know Barnabus would kill you for not sharing this,
what?
or worse,
Yeah,
he'd
Barnabas
cry.
will murder us
Oh,
if
Yeah,
we
I
don't tell
will.
him.
oh.
And
I will. I think both Ava and I are going to wind up getting him some, so he's probably going to wind up with 2 pieces at this rate. At
I mean-
least.
yeah,
At which point,
definitely do that.
which
I'm
point
going
you get, because
drag
when you
clarity
guys are
here.
both approaching and asking about cheesecake, you get. I guess there's more than just you guys. Not really trying to upsell or anything, but we do sell whole cheesecakes.
I just look at Darwin.
Done.
Yeah, that's gonna be seven.
Yeah, it's one of those. Ava and Darwin look at each other and just look back and go, done.
Yeah, you can split the 8 silver that the whole cheesecake will cost, because it really is fresh cheesecake, real vanilla, a very faint hint of lemon, kind of.
Mm.
That sounds amazing.
Meantime,
Team Noble wins today.
Team Noble wins today.
Damn out of character. I'm like, fuck. I wonder if anybody has any around here. Damn you.
Unfortunately, you are
I'm
in
gonna have to go on a hunt after
you
this.
are in
Shit.
the foodie capital of Equitas, so everything you have here is going to be phenomenal. Meantime, these three enter the bar, and the minute you walk through the door, there is the noise. The noise is very raucous pub somewhere mid pub brawl. And can Barnabus, given that he is the tallest of y'all, please make me a dex save?
I shall try. Sorry, the character sheet's reopening for some reason.
Shit happens. It's been one of those days.
There we go.
Fingers crossed you roll as well as the last two.
Oh no.
Whatever it is.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage as a thrown chair hits you in the head.
It's this kind of party.
Which
Yes,
point,
it is.
somewhere above the noise, you get a few different voices going, "Sorry." Yeah, basically, you can't see the altercation as it is currently happening because it seems less like a free for all and more a grown up version of the kind of pushy shovey circle you get in a school playground. And given Barnabas is the taller of you, he can actually see over the rest of the crowd and note one fairly stocky human and one fairly skinny elf. No weapons beyond whatever they can grab off a table, but they're going at it. To judge by the fact that the elf, as you're watching, grabs a bar stool and whacks the human in the small of the back with it, you kind of get the impression that this was the one who threw the chair. Beyond that, there's crammed into a corner. There's a little bar. There are no bottles visible. You can see why. But the smell is good beer, good whiskey, and sweat, really. Probably a little bit of blood. And this is a place called Her Grace's Bower. Particularly the two intelligent ones who tend to be curious are probably wondering what the fuck at this point.
This place seems very full of grace.
I believe it's ironic.
A middle-aged, you think half elf, but the longish hair makes it kind of hard to tell. Gentleman, you think, goes, "No, actually, this place was founded long time back, around about the time when the capitals were being set up. the governor of Almaver at the time was basically all the governors toured the place, and this is the place that she asked to be set up for when she turned up. Back then, nobody really knew what to call governor, so they just called her Your Grace. So Her Grace's Bower. This was where she stayed. And of course, since you all know that this is the exact same governor as is currently existing, yeah, this is probably a place that that Crab Bendis would approve of. I mean, Barnabus has only really met her the once, but Remi and again, I think it's only Remi who really understands how accurate that is, rather than ironic. But you guys did get an idea from the stories you heard about this woman. I mean, still technically woman, just big dragon.
They are not exclusive.
Well, it depends on who you talk to. Some people apparently probably don't see dragons much as people. So, anyway, yeah. So
This is the one. This is the governor that Clarity had words with at the wedding.
yes, this is the
Yes.
this is the scary one who made a pass at Hazel. Yes, this is the one that whose judgment got Darvin bunnied for about a month.
Clarity's expression darkens a little bit.
Yeah, the individual who answered the unspoken question just goes back to their beer. The fight ends with the stocky human finally getting the better of the skinny elf and effectively ramming their head into the floor. And the elf stands up. They shake hands, and some coin changes hands, and then the elf goes and buys the human a drink, and the pushy shovey breaks up to show it's, I mean, beyond the clear spot, there's just a lot of makeshift tables and chairs kind of crammed together in various spots around the place. But yeah, that spot in the center is apparently kept clear for fights. But the way to the bar is open because you're a little early.
Yeah, Remi goes and get a beer.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me.
Yeah. And you get there. The individual behind the bar is. Clarity is probably the one who's experienced more Fearbolg than you two. I don't think Barnabus even knows what one is. They tend to be more around the Elven Wild. So what you have is. There's something of the bovine, but very much not like you. They're sort of an off brownish gray. There's a faintly bovine sort of look to the nose, longish ears, moderately stocky woman. And Remi knows about Fearbolgs, but she's never really dealt with them. But there was a Fearbolg who Clarity used to see at the library in Belerace a fair bit, so she's a little more used to them. And Barnabas has the rare treat of looking at somebody and giving them the reaction that he's been getting so very often. What the hell is this? Although, given that Barnabas is polite, he's probably just giving the okay kind of look. What can I get you?
Would you please recommend a local beer?
That depends on what kind of taste you like, really. We got a little bit of everything. You
Nothing
wouldn't
too
think
strong.
you wouldn't
this
think to look at it, but they're kind of picky about their beer in here.
I can imagine. But yes, nothing overly strong.
More thinking flavor notes, but
Remi says something about
yeah.
beer.
Yeah, I was well, I was basically I was gonna have the Fearbolt look at Clarity and go, "That's a surprise me look if ever I saw one."
Ah, yeah.
And yourself, looking at Barnabas.
Um, I'll take whatever you have in the for stout if you got any.
We have like 3 different kinds. I'll surprise you with on that end as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you don't get so much the glasses. Apparently, they basically issue glassware, not because you get glass bottles. It's not because weapon. It's just they don't want to have to keep replacing them all the time. So yeah, Clarity gets a bottle of the label says chocolate stout, which does actually taste quite chocolatey.
Nice.
Barnabas gets something a little stronger, a little earthier, a little hint of cinnamon.
Nice.
And Remi just gets something really clean tasting in a pail. So, and well, are you gonna find a seat or are you gonna just hover at the bar?
Remy looks for a table in a conspicuous location.
Yeah, it's weirdly not overly crowded. When the fight ended, a few people went to congregate at some of the stand-up tables outside, so you can. And the place isn't really big enough to have a spot where you would not be seen by anyone just giving the room a quick scan. You have to pull a chair from another table, but if you ask if anyone's using that seat, they say no, so that's fine. So any commentary in the 20-30 minutes you guys have to wait?
You guys ever been in a bar fight?
Yes.
Remy looks between the two of them.
And that's not just breaking them up either. I've had a few.
A few.
Who won?
I won. Obviously.
It's about half and half. There's some I told I won that I wasn't really in the condition to comprehend that at the moment.
Flitius, it was obviously Sylvan because is that a you should see the other guy situation?
Liddy wants to know if it's a you should see the other guy situation.
Yes, generally. And I may have partied a little too hard in my younger years. I must say, the setup they got here for it seems oddly civilized.
Well, for Remi, who is a paladin of one of the gods from this street, it's justice and retribution. It's supposed to be fair and relatively civilized.
Yeah, well, given the location, it makes sense. This isn't kind of the place for unfair fights.
I can definitely appreciate that. It was a good shot with that chair, too.
Sometimes there's benefits to being short.
Yes.
Of course, Clarity in this group has the added advantage of not being the shortest in the group.
Mhm.
Because Remi is shorter than her by a few inches, if memory serves me correctly.
Yes.
But yeah, sitting, nursing your beer, and at approximately the appointed time, you have looks like a couple of the guards from the Azamar settlement come in. One is Adelaide. One is her eye rolly. You're gonna get us in trouble. Partner in guard duty who And it gives her a look like she nods at him, and he heads in the direction of the bar, and she sort of stops and heads over to your table. So, what do you think of the place?
Pretty nice.
Did someone explain the name?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm kind of glad you didn't bring everybody. Not that I'd have minded myself, but some of them seem to talk an awful lot, and as you can see, this place isn't really sized for that kind of thing.
That's quite fair.
If you want something a little more private, I've got Clint getting the room downstairs.
All right. If you
Okay.
think that's pertinent.
Well, do you want to have this conversation here?
Fair enough. Lead the way, please.
Yeah. Leads you guys, gives a nod to the barmaid, and pushes open a door that you were pretty sure led to the privies, and they do. There's, you're it seems to be a very much unisex sort of a situation for the privies, but there's also a smaller door, quite narrow. Barnabus is going to have to tilt a little bit sideways for this one, and down an equally narrow flight of stairs into this has a little bit more of the feel that you might have originally expected from a place named Her Grace's Bower. Not much, but a bit. There's actually plusher seats. There is a smaller, clearly private bar. This one is manned by a different Firbolg, male this time, rather taller, a little bit skinnier, has apparently dyed their hair a shade of sort of pale lavender. And there's about 3 or 4 other people in there, and they are all Scourge Azamar, just from the look of the hair. Most of them have got out of uniform, but you can tell. Being an Azamar of that type is kind of hard to hide. They all look up and look at you guys when you come in, but Adelaide kind of waves them off and nudges them to sort of a corner, more sort of a semicircular booth crammed into a corner than anything else. Which they sort of settle you into. Do you guys want another? Gesturing to what little remains of your beers.
I'm
Maybe
good.
later.
I'm all right for the moment.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get myself something, so. And the individual, apparently Clint, pulls up a chair and sits down and sort of, can you tell your various friends that while I appreciated the attempt at distracting me from what Adelaide was up to, but I really didn't need it. I bitch at her from time to time. It's a guard thing. Really didn't need any of that.
Duly noted.
Especially the attempted bribery. I mean, pretty smooth how she tried it, but anybody saw that, and I don't want to get it in the neck with the captain.
I understand.
If I'm gonna get it in the neck with the captain, it's gonna be for something way more important than like a gold.
That is very, very fair.
I can feel that in my bones.
Yeah. And Adelaide comes back with a bottle of what is apparently strawberry beer, and something more in Remi's line for Clint. And okay, so let's lay cards on table. I've heard about you guys.
Good things, I hope.
Fairly, yeah. I mean, not the kind of thing Captain Tag likes to hear about the outside world, but I'm all
I
for it.
imagine not.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've never really got him. And yeah, he was 15 when the village went. I was like 8, I think. And mostly it needs to die, and if I can help with that, great. But I can't because I'm here guarding people who shouldn't need guarding. And it's
That's
not
the
guard as in
problem.
protect, it's guard as in prison.
That's what we're looking to resolve.
I'm aware of that. I did actually speak to Alice one-on-one. How do you think she got beyond the door when she pulled the lock picks? I couldn't do anything about it when she busted the door down, but so I'm taking it her turning up in Anbir wasn't an accident.
No.
Okay, so do you have a plan?
I need
'Cause
to get Alice first. And we're hoping to find people like you two that are not agreeing with the situation.
well, to be fair,
There was talk of us sneaking in, me mostly, and trying to find her. But that's not exactly the most ideal situation.
and that's the thing. The impression I got was that you were going to petition to have the place shut down because they were taking people who didn't need taking. Is that not on the cards anymore?
It is. We're still.
So you need proof that she's in there, not of her own free will. Am I right?
Yes.
That would be definitely helpful for when we go to the governor.
Yeah, so what kind of proof do you need?
I hate to ask more of you, but I think testimony from one of the guards. It's hard to argue with that.
Or more than one.
Clint is like, I'm getting involved in this, aren't I? Yay. I mean, I don't like it either. But unlike Adelaide, I understand what happens if I blow up. I understand what happens. I just. Some things are more important than the country starving? Fuck. That's the thing. As you can probably tell, this. Because obviously we're not fussed about talking down here. It's not all the guards that are like this. It's just the ones that are like the captain, too scared to contradict him, too scared of what they saw to even contemplate it, and just if they stay here and guard things, they don't have to go out there and fight that. So you want more help from the guard and keep them from freaking out when you're trying to take people.
We just want to give people a choice.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you give the protectors a choice, 9 times out of 10, they're going to win out. And that means that those guards aren't needed anymore. That's the thing. That's the problem. There are some, just a few, like Captain Tag, who are just really, really freaked out and want to protect the protectors for their own good. The rest of them would do anything to keep from getting potentially sent out to fight the shit they saw. So they're going on entire selfishness.
We're not. And I get that point of view, and it's a very reasonable fear, but we're not conscripting anybody. No one's going to be forced to fight.
You're not. And honestly, I don't even think the governor would. I don't know if you really get what it is. You look like you get it more than you think you do. But Azamar in general, we're sparked by a being. You clearly know this.
Mm-hmm.
What you don't know is that being, by and large, guides us. Tells us what we should be doing. And yeah, sometimes we can say that, we're working towards that end in a different way. But without that excuse, because let's face it, it is. The being that sparked them, they're the ones that would be demanding that they act according to their nature and do something. I mean, mine is telling me effectively to talk to you. Has been telling me to stay to make this shit stop. But I can't do that and condemn half the country to starvation. Because if I even say the wrong thing and suggest that maybe we aren't needed, fight breaks out. Because panic.
I'm very much working to avoid a fight.
Yeah, you keep it. Just understand that the minute you start suggesting that people don't need this setup, they're either good. I mean, that's the thing. They're not even going to just fight you. They're going to fight us because we wouldn't let you fight alone.
That's why I'm resisting the urge to ask how many are on each side, because I want to avoid that.
And I couldn't give you a proper answer. Some people change day to day. It depends
I
on.
know it's a difficult situation.
But
No,
it's not that. It's literally some of them are going, this isn't right one day, and then panic is winning the next. People aren't always as steadfast as you and your group.
Mhm. I think some of them just need to be reminded there's more than one way to help against this. Not everyone's a warrior, and not everyone needs to be a warrior, but
Oh, that's fine for the protectors, because most of them aren't. I've done what I can, and so has Clint, and so have a few others. We have trained them in at least some self-defense. But the Scourge have been trained to fight, specifically in case they ever need to. That's why we're the guards. And some of them will use what they've learned to keep their cushy and safe positions. And again, that changes day to day. People are not all, like I say, people are not all as steadfast as you. Some of them are fickle as fuck. I can testify if you need me to. And Clint is just. And a few others would do so as well. I just don't think it would go over well. Because at some point it's going to have to go up in front of Captain Tag and some of the people who are on his side. And unless something can be found to be said.
well, there is another issue on top of that. If the governor were to come in and shut this down, and I'm sure that's not something that can be done via a courier sending a letter, the anti-magic field has to be shut down first.
What? I mean, obviously I heard you, but take what as to why?
I can't say. I'm sorry.
The governor being a high profile person would need to be protected by whatever means. And having an anti-magic field is a liability.
Give me a deception check.
Fuck. Okay. Fuck.
I mean, it's logical, but it's also so much of a lie. Maybe you should have just stuck to can't say. Because you're contradicting each other. Because
Well,
that's a logical, sensible thing that wouldn't need to be hidden. So there's something else going on here.
Yes, there's something else, but clarity's not wrong. But yes, there is something that I
Actually, no,
absolutely
clarity is
cannot
wrong
say.
because it feels to me like if the governor went into the anti-magic field, he'd certainly be able to take care of himself much more than he is able to when he still has access to magic. Because let's face it, you're saying it would be dangerous to be there, and he would turn into a dragon if he crossed that. So dragons are kind of, even if they don't have magic, dragons are kind of really able to take care of themselves. So yeah, I'm sorry. I tried, but no. So we clearly still don't trust each other.
It's not that. I promise you, it's not that. It's something that I cannot divulge. And the last time we did, that was a protracted issue.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, I don't know how to turn that thing off. And even if I did, everybody would know in like a second. And that would just cause everybody panicking. So nobody would be really willing to. I mean, I don't even know if they'd notice the governor at that point. Oop. Darvin. No. So, here's what I've got. I can tell you don't want to say this without doing some checking up. Why don't you, obviously in the morning, because we're starting to get on now, go to the governor, explain the situation, and see if we can't get a little bit of flexibility here? Because I need some time to see if it's even possible to shut that shit down. Because I don't know. Magic is beyond my natural, is not my thing. And trying to shut that down would be dangerous and massively risky. Either way, I'm pretty sure, because that's got to be some pretty big magic given the size of the space. So either you're going to have to get the governor down there, anti-magic field or no anti-magic field, or you're going to have to give me a damn good reason why not. It'll also give me time to have a think about, how, because I'd need to look into that. Are you guys coming back to the settlement your own selves at any point?
Yes, tomorrow. Well, likely tomorrow.
Right.
We're gonna ask around at the market. So, pretending to tag that we don't know where LSA is.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you get some testimony there that you can bring to the governor. You probably want to make an appointment with him before, governors get busy.
Mhm. If the governor were to request Tag's presence, do you think he would actually arrive?
Probably would, but whether or not he'd listen is something entirely else.
Oh, yes, but
And whether the rest of the group would listen to him if speaking to the one guy, even if it is the captain, there's variables.
there isn't anyone above Captain, is there?
No, but orders that they like because it keeps them in a safe, cushy position, or orders that might get them driven by the spark of divine inside them to go risk their lives. Which one are they going to want to listen to if they're feeling particularly selfish? Even that could end up causing a fight. I'm just saying if that's your thing to do, then that's the problem. Clint speaks up and says, okay. I get the idea that you know more about what's happening with your wife than we've had liberty to talk about because we're all on the logistics here. And I imagine that some of the concerns are getting in the way of taking it slower and more measured because you don't want her, frankly, tortured more than is necessary.
That's right.
I can't do anything about the long-term sleep enchantment, but if you could get me, or rather the barman down here, a few ingredients, we can brew up something that can negate the nightmares.
Give me a list. I can do that.
Writes a few things down, asterisks a couple of them, and flags up that these two in specific you're only going to find in the Bone Orchard. I hope I I figure you have a contact there, maybe. I don't know.
That won't be a problem.
Okay, good. I mean, she can pass it to just about anybody who come. He can pass it to just about anyone who comes down here, or if you prefer, hand it to a better known quantity. Um, Adelaide's going to be on market duty in sort of the early afternoon. And if you're going earlier in the morning, there's a gentleman named Adon who's going to be working the morning shift. So it's up to you whether you. I figure you want this as soon as possible, and I'm just not going to be staying down here because I'm for too long because I'm also on the early afternoon shift and sleep is a thing. I have a feeling I'm going to need as much of my strength as I can in the next few days because everything I've seen and heard about you guys suggests that, particularly without the presence of your common sense, you have a tendency to burn rooms down.
Very much trying to avoid that, but
Yes, I understand that, but I am very much used to somebody who would very happily burn rooms down. Hey, am I wrong? No, but you don't have to go saying it. Point is that I feel that maybe the room burning would be a little bit less likely if you at least knew your wife wasn't suffering. Sleeping, but not suffering.
well, Less likely to take a fight with Tag, at least.
There is another reason. It's partially selfish as well. I've tried to explain this to Adelaide. I did understand. I just don't care. It's still evil no matter what. Point is that I've actually done some study about this soul taint. As you can tell, I'm the academic of the duo. Yeah. I still beat you 3 out of 5. Point is, it's a thought entity. It's not just a soul taint, it's a mind taint. And from the stories I've been hearing, if at a remove, this stuff knows you. If you're going to start summoning it in dreams, that's going to eventually be a problem. I have tried to explain this, but let's face it, Tag is currently using this as a test case. He effectively wants to do this to any kid approaching the age of puberty, so they are less likely to want to run as adults. I have been trying to show him my conclusions, but he really does feel that we are safe here. Thought doesn't work that way. We don't need to be waving burning brands and calling its attention. So yeah, I want that particular thing shut down as much as you do for slightly larger scale reasons than you knew to know about. So yes, if you can get that stuff, that would be great. Thank you. I mean, if you can
We'll get it as quickly as we can.
if you can be quick, I'm going to be down here for another hour and a half or so.
How late are the herbalist shops open?
This is... How do I explain this? Addie, we worship by doing. Things don't shut.
That is very good to hear. Then I'm pretty sure we can be back in an hour. One of us will go to the Bone Orchard, and another will get the rest of the stuff from the shops.
Okay. And Flitty is just, I'm gonna go find out where the other ones are. I'll be back in a minute. And Clint is just, hi, do I get a name? Sylvan. You can talk to me! And then in Draconic, I can talk to you twice over. Yay! I'm Flitty. Clint, hello. This is really nice, and I hope I get to see you in better circumstances, but I gotta go find the others. I am half of the common sense and the emotional support fairy dragon.
Thank you, Flitty.
And
I
Clint
really gotta learn Sylvan.
and Clint is just... the cross street to this one, sir. If you've got a significant amount of gold to spare, you can probably pick up not so much how to learn it exactly, but people don't do the helm for comprehending languages here. It's a little gaudy most of the time. But if you've done particularly well on the various exploits we've heard tell about, you could get it only works on fairy dragons, but it was derived from the little bracelets that apparently Egref gives out during the fairy dragon jamboree. So if you really wanted the street of knowledge and reason is set up that way, and sure you could find a shop that sells fairy dragon communication devices.
Thank you. It's good
That's
to know.
neat.
Unfortunately, it won't work on anybody else, but and you can get those sorts of things, but they're probably more expensive than all of y'all could manage to put together, and I'm sure adventurers have other expenditures, but you should probably go and meet your friend outside because we don't keep the windows open, and him having to get in through a door is... I mean, the barmaid will let him out, but trying to get him back in would...
Mm.
I don't think they'll hear him scratching at the door.
Probably not, no. We'll see you shortly then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, do you guys in the art cafe get after a while of Hazel hiding in her corner, you of you guys, it's Rylan with the highest passive perception. So Rylan hears the bump squeak of Flitty having a look and seeing there you are, and holds up a little claw like back in a minute. So yeah, you guys get Rylan chuckling. Probably just about miss Flitty because it didn't take long. We just get...
But
I'll be back in a minute. Don't you worry.
You guys have what, he?
he'll be back.
What?
You just did none of. Was I the only one who saw Freddy at the window?
You're muted, Smeagol.
I think
Oh.
we were.
Probably yes.
And yeah, you guys get led by Flitty to the art cafe with Flitty going about. It smelled like good coffee and really good pastries. Really, really good pastries. You better be careful of the bull man.
We knew we already have something prepared.
No,
for
you're
him.
not there yet. This is just what Flitty's been saying is leading these three to where you guys are. And of
So
course,
Flitty says that there's really good coffee and pastries there. That we have to be careful of you, Barnabus.
Why? Whatever could you mean?
it's just that you might be sad that you can't eat them all because you're busy.
You might be sad that you can't eat them all because you're busy.
It's mean to make somebody choose between friends and tasty pastry.
Choose between friends and pastry, which I completely agree about.
No,
To
that's
a
tough.
point. To a point.
I'm trying to lighten the mood because everybody looked real grumpy. It
He said
looks
we look
like I
grumpy.
succeeded. I just don't want everybody to be sad. The LSA lady normally keeps you from being sad, and I have to take the job back. Currently doing the bungee tap tap on Barnabus's horn. So yeah. And yeah, you get to the I mean, to be fair, I think it's only Barnabus who's ever seen anything like this in terms of modern art. I'm sure that somebody in Ravnica does shit like this. And yes, it does smell like exquisite coffee and very nice pastry bits and pieces. And these guys are sitting in a corner table, and Hazel is making herself look very small.
Hey,
What happened? You're tiny.
terrible jokes happened.
Oh. I sit down next to her and
it wasn't
ruffle
me
her
this
hair.
time.
Really off-color jokes in because I briefly forgot where we were.
Yeah. It happens to the best
Thankfully,
of us.
immediate apology actually worked this time.
That's good.
Yeah.
Remi
Go ahead.
Remi puts down the list We need to split up and get all of these as quickly as possible. Apparently, all the shops are still open.
Because there is no other word, the barista's like, of course everything's still open. It'd be like a shrine closing.
Fair point. Thank you. This is a great city.
Remi,
We enjoy it.
elaborate.
What is all that? What's it called?
It's for a potion that will help Alice because Tag is doing something that is inducing nightmares in her, and it might summon something from her nightmares because that's how the corruption works. And Adelaide and Quinn are going to help with that, but we need to get them these ingredients so they can make the potion to help Alice.
He's completely lost his mind.
It's supposed to
Wow.
stop the nightmares.
Well, let's get to it then. And don't worry. I point to the box. You've got your
And
covered.
someone needs to go. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, who wants to do what? Where do we need to go?
Well, someone needs to go to the bone orchard because some
Okay.
of the stuff is from there.
Maybe that should be the Hazel Lady. Because the Bone Orchard is like Palor and Nerul and their partnership, and a cleric of Palor would probably do good with that.
Okay.
I'll go too.
And I can somebody read out what these ingredients are, because then I can do a flyover of the Berry Street and see what places you'd have to look for them, because then I can save you having to hunt around.
That's a good point.
Clarity reads it out.
Some of that doesn't entirely translate into Sylvan, but I get the idea. And it'll take me just a few minutes, but in just that few minutes, maybe the bullman can have some of what the Ava lady was pointing at in that box. And you're maybe save me some, please.
We will. We'll push the box towards whoever hadn't had any.
Yeah, well, Hazel and Clarity are probably already on their way to the Bone Orchard, so it's Remi and Barnabus for the most part. And yes, if you open up the little box, it's a mid-sized cheesecake already divided up into 6 slices each, sort of separated out with wax paper so that it's easy enough to do single servings of.
Well, hello there, gorgeous.
We figured you'd appreciate it.
I really thank you. This looks wow.
The barista is we do the best strawberry cheesecake in the city. Everything else is still really good, but I put our strawberry cheesecake of just about everything else. We've actually got a strawberry patch in the back garden.
Well, Barnabas is going to dig in.
Yeah, it is truly glorious. It's like coffee.
Yes, please.
It actually names like 4 or 5 different kinds, which mean absolutely nothing to you because you did not grow up here.
Whatever the gods usually drink.
Okay, that either means the exceptionally bitter one or the one that faintly tastes like hazelnut.
The hazelnut one.
Okay, and does actually offer. It's kind of like if Starbucks was actually gourmet rather than trying to be. So you do have the option of flavored syrups. Okay. And just puts down a reasonable sized mug for like 3 copper. And yes, good coffee.
Metagaming Pigeon says, "Save some cheesecake for Clarity."
Hey,
I'm
Barnabus
sh-
is just having a slice and pushing it away from him.
Yeah, I'm keeping it near me once he's had his share.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Flitty saying "save me some" would have had them think of Clarity as well. So, yeah. And then, Flitty comes back a little while later and goes, "There, we can get everything we need in 3 shops."
Great.
Yeah,
So we
because
can
if
do
it's
3
defaulting to Draconic, because that's the usual language. So it's Ava who's largely understanding at this point.
We can find everything in 3 shops. So we can do 4 teams. Team Bone Orchard and 1 team for each shop.
Well, Team Bone Orchard already left because the Bone Orchard
right.
is a fair walk away. So
Right. So we can do 3 teams.
Thank you, Slitty.
yes,
Sweet.
except first of all, 4 doesn't go into 3, and I still need to lead you.
It'll
Well,
still be faster if we
5 doesn't
follow
go
her.
into 3 either. So yeah, it's mostly just so you can follow me instead of having to bounce from shop to shop to shop.
Alright.
And yeah, a little bit of a walk to the Strait of Nature's Bounty, and you wind up spending about 6 silver on everything, and most of it's pretty innocuous stuff. Just what it's actually Rylan who largely recognizes as the kind of herbs you find in healthsome sleepy teas and that kind of thing. But you do also notice that everything needs to be fresh, and that's most of it, is actually getting picked off of. They do dry it, but if it's fresh, they're getting it literally right off the plant when it comes to herbs. So every time you walk into one of these shops, it's like walking into somebody's dedicated herb garden. And so yeah, it's some herbs, a few berries, and you guys have no idea what any of this stuff does, but Rylan is sort of going, yeah, okay, no, this makes sense. I don't know what they need from the Bone Orchard, but this makes sense. So yeah, it's you guys looking at random herbs and Rylan kind of nodding. If that reassures anybody.
I mean, this all largely checks out.
Meanwhile, Team Bone Orchard, how are you going to handle this? Are you going to go looking for the things you need, or are you going to ask somebody?
I vote ask.
100% gonna go ask.
Property wise.
Yeah.
Because everything in there is already unique, strange, and different, and if there's one way to distract Alana, it's probably going to be by going hypersonic and letting her figure that out for a few hours.
Doesn't that mean you don't want to ask Alana? You don't have a few hours.
No, but what I mean is asking and having one of the sisters deal with figuring it out while I derail Alana from derailing us.
Well, thankfully, once you start heading up in the general direction of the house, you get mostly Hazel, given perception because wisdom score gets a thump. There's a lot fewer of you than I expected. Who's in jail?
That hasn't happened yet, and that would usually be me.
I love the yet. Niella, pretty obviously. So, where is everybody else? Are we gonna have to pull them out of the Street of Love and Beauty, or?
Maybe later. But they're going. They've got some errands to run. We're on an errand too. We have a couple things that we were needing for a potion to help Alice.
And you need them specifically from the Bone Orchard. Let me have a look. Oh, okay. No, I get why now. Oh, this is going to be fun. Do not tell Alana about this. Do not do it. She would she would shake people for why, and then she would have theories about what else she could do with it, and then something would probably explode. I mean, we got over her explodey phase 100 years ago, but sometimes these things come in cycles. You need rose hips from the crystal roses. Fuck my life. Pulls out some fairly heavy gloves. Wait there. Then turns to something neither of you can hear. Let the mice entertain you. That they start doing. They start acting out a moderately popular musical. Actually, given it is that musical, it takes you a minute, but then you realize it is the play.
Oh no! I told her we.
I don't know when the fuck they saw that, but yeah.
Wanted to see it, and now I have an excuse.
And now you're seeing it in crystal and amber mice form.
I.
Some of the songs are real bangers, but neither of them would have said any of that in quite that way.
Oh no! If Alice ever meets whoever wrote that, she's going to eat them
Probably.
like with a fork
Definitely.
and spoon or a knife or
Yep.
something. I don't know. There will be utensils involved, and it will be brutal.
Though this is going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the night.
Yeah, that the third song. It's going. It hasn't stopped. Help!
Turns up with Yellow turns back. Okay, scatter, you guys. She has two bags. One is leather. One is just linen. Frankly, be careful with these because they are sharp as fuck. Be careful with these because they bruise easy and they will be useless if they bruise. So maybe
Clarity trades bags with,
Yeah.
with Hazel.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, hang on, no, that one should get the one that there are consequences only to her. If, yeah, okay. We'll leave the door unlocked. Try not to make too much noise coming in. I mean, I'll hear you anyway, but don't worry about it. I hear everything. But if you wake Alana up, she's gonna wonder what you've been up to, and you will not get away without telling her the entire story. And if you're gonna do that, it may as well be over breakfast, not. Speaking of, are we doing late breakfast for you people?
Probably.
Yeah, I figured.
Given
Okay. Shoo, you have
given the hour,
heroes.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, you have hero stuff to do. Shoo. And the little Russell and she gone, probably up in a tree somewhere.
Clarity's power walking.
Yeah. Given that you guys
Following
did
favorite
not,
tiefling.
given that you guys did not set up a place to meet up, I'm going to say you meet back up in front of the coffee shop with your various bits and pieces. With Clarity being really careful with one bag and Hazel, give me a dex check.
Fun.
Yep. You've only managed to cut through the leather and into your own hand once. That was enough to teach you. So that is 4 points of piercing damage as a bit of crystalline E. Of course, as you're reeling from that, you realize, wait a minute, I'm now seeming to remember that Barnabus. It's hard to tell with Barnabus, but he has face full of bruise. Because it occurs to me she would have noticed the natural consequences of being hit in the face with a flying chair. So yeah, you guys meet up, and that's Hazel is doing the, and then wait a minute.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Barnabas,
What
I'm
happened?
fine.
Hmm.
All
what
right. All
hit
right. All
you?
right. A flying chair. They have a recreational bar fighting league basically going on, and
Which
I
in Flitty is. I don't think it was recreational. It looked like they were settling a fight.
He says it looked like they were settling a fight.
I
right,
think
but
that's how they argue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very sportsmanlike.
yeah, they had drinks together afterwards. If that's not recreational, I don't know what is.
Recreational has no purpose but fun. That was to make a decision. Well, we're going back. You can ask the bar lady.
You want me to deal with that? Because I can.
All right, you won't leave me alone if I say no. So yeah,
And
go
she
right
should
ahead.
include herself. She's bleedy.
Yeah, these they're very sharp,
Mm,
and I'm just gonna cast that. And I think we just need to fix everything up. Casting mass healing word with that word at base level.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna bother. You're fine. So yeah, you head back to the bar, and I guess you're all going in this time.
So, are we all, or
I mean, unless
the
someone
same
has a
group as last?
reason why we shouldn't.
We don't have a lot of time. Shoo.
Why don't the three of us again?
Yep.
yeah.
Oh,
I take
come
the bag
on.
from.
They don't get to see anything.
You
All
want
right, everybody in. We don't have time for this. Everybody in.
Why doesn't just the
Yep.
three of you go the downstairs and everybody else can stay the upstairs? They should get to try the
Yep.
nice beer too.
Onwards for everyone.
Yeah, and inside you have. Thankfully, they still seem to be between fights at the moment, but you can see that there is a clear spot. The tables are kind of squished together, leaving a clear spot in this fairly small room, and you can see the evidence of fight. And yeah,
So that's what they meant by flying chairs.
yeah, Fearball lady behind the bar, just sort of going. Yes, they were trying to make a decision over their neighbors, and they were trying to decide who was responsible for the damage to. There was a tree, and the neighbor was doing something with their soil, and it messed with the roots, and they were trying to decide who should pay for the tree and the damage to the fence. So they fought it out.
One way to settle disputes, I guess.
Huh.
This is a straight for it. What can I get you?
I'll have another one of those stouts, please.
I'm going to assume that Remi just goes down and hands off the bag because
Yep.
she has zero time for this, I can tell.
No, yes.
Clarity is going to follow her with the 2 bags from the Bone Orchard. Being careful.
Okay. Yeah.
Just gonna go with what he said.
You sure you don't want me to surprise you?
Surprised.
I have a look, don't I? Yes.
You're dating the tiefling, aren't you? You both share that look.
A little bit. A lot of
You're
it.
good at.
Yes. Very yes.
I'm a barmaid.
Mhm.
And in answer to your question, I'm a firbolg.
Sorry, I
We're sort of nature fae. Darvin's seen a firbolg. Saw one at the library. Rylan hasn't seen firbolg since he left home, because there's a few communities of firbolg in the Elven Wild. And then all of a sudden you're wondering how they're doing, given the mess in the Elven Wild right now.
Mhm. So there's just this like look of recognition, and then oh no.
I'm not going to ask. You have enough nervous. Let me guess something mild, a little herbal, little earthy. Fruity and extravagant. Looking at Darvin.
Sounds about right.
We can't hear you.
I was going to say summer, but yes.
Looks at Ava. Light, not overly complicated, understated, kind of elegant.
Sounds about right.
And I know just the thing for you. And comes out with the glass bottles. What Darvin gets is actually a cider, which is raspberry pear. Big.
I want that.
And out of
Not
character,
Barnabus.
I've actually had something like that. So that's
Yeah, and Brian wants that. Not just Barnabus. Brian wants that.
Speaking of recording it, which is so
I'll
great.
have to do some research and see if the particular distillery that I'm thinking of still makes that. And I'll let you know, Brian.
Yeah. Rylan gets a dark that does have this kind of earthy, faintly marjoram-y kind of a taste to it.
Ooh.
Ava also gets a cider, but rather than anything that complicated, it's sort of an apple cinnamon that tastes quite a lot like apple pie.
Perfect.
And Hazel gets it's kind of a light, well, it's certainly a palish color, but rather than the usual yellow, it's sort of faintly orange. And the label on it just says Her Grace's favorite. When drunk, it is a little bit of orange, a little bit of bergamot, just a hint of hazelnut.
There is a reaction that I would usually have. However, that would be too much in here.
If you're going to
And-
make a terribly high-pitched noise, there's a reason we hide all the glass behind the bar.
Yeah.
So, if you have to do that, please go outside.
I don't have to. I have enough self-control to not.
Your face says different, honey.
This is not easy, but I can contain it for now.
At which point she hops over the bar, grabs you, flings over the shoulder,
Oh no.
takes you
Where are we
outside,
going?
outside, then shuts the door.
And I just hypersonic screeching.
Yeah, thankfully,
There it
because
is.
of the sound baffles in this place, you guys can't hear it. There is
the
no.
windows substand the.
There is a Rylan can probably see a very faint vibration in the window, but there are wards on this place to keep outside sound outside and inside sound inside, or else you guys would have heard the fight before you walked in.
Mhm.
So I take it Hazel will get that out of her system and then go back to her beer.
Very much, yes. Thankfully, it doesn't take long at all this time.
Yeah, and the barmaid doesn't make anything of it. She just kind of puts a bowl of sort of mixed dried fruits and nuts on the bar. And yeah, Remi finds Clin and Adelaide still just about finishing up what's probably their second drink, and Clin is just, that's good timing.
Told you we'd be quick about it.
Well,
Thank you.
and Clin is like, I asked the barman for something for your little friend, the mix of of the nuts and fruits and things they do behind the bar.
I will give it to him.
And I guess we'll probably see you at some point tomorrow.
hmm
And looks at
Be
Claire.
careful with these.
I am a lot careful with everything, but thank you for the warning. Adelaide is I resent that emphasis, but you don't deny it. No, but I still allowed to resent it. We're still on for next week, right? Yes. About once a month, we have a go up there just to beat out the results of this much teasing. Incidentally, Clarity, since she's practicing trying to be more observant, because we are going to be looking at level up once this is done, and I know that I don't think status upgrades are coming up for you guys yet, but they will be soon, so I'm giving you the opportunity to practice. One of the things you will have noticed on looking at them is that even without the armor, and actually this symbol was on their armor too, there's a sign that's not a part of the guard embroidered just sort of over their hearts on their clothing. But it seems to mean something because it's on their armor, it's on their clothes. It might be worth asking about.
Excuse me, just a bit of curiosity. What does that symbol mean?
That's her family symbol and my family symbol. And Remi will actually remember this because when Alice was talking about the various wedding traditions of various of the provinces, people in Anbir, when they're married, take their family symbol or their personal symbol, blend it, and then embroider it on every item of clothing that they own. And they're like, it's some places I understand that Cabreval does these watches things, and some people in Alamaver do brands, and some places do rings and specially carved wooden spoons. But when we're born, we have a personal symbol. And if you get married, you take your personal symbol and somebody else's personal symbol and have it mixed together in a symbol, and then we wear it. So it's embroidered on everything. So what it means is that we're married, which probably should have been obvious because of the amount we fight, but... So, yeah, I will not explain exactly why about the fighting, but let's face it, sometimes you just wanna, you know? I mean, we don't actually really hurt each other that badly, and it helps that we both heal at a touch anyway, so.
Yeah.
It is interesting foreplay. Clin, really? Well, she looks curious. Not about that, she doesn't. About everything. Maybe not everything, but now it's a personal thing that she now knows. So, yay. Well, I'll go give this to the barman, and we'll get it to her when we come back from, just when we come back. I'm pretty sure we can avoid the night patrol. And that's pretty much your dismissal as they go and talk to the fearful gentleman behind the bar. And yeah, you guys come up, and you guys are about halfway through their various beers. That didn't take overly long. Yeah, Hazel has probably just sort of come back in.
Okay, Hazel.
Isn't they're drinking very interesting looking beers with very interesting looking labels.
Oh,
All right,
Woody.
clarity. Come here.
Mm.
Try.
What is it?
Tastes like me. There's hazelnut in there. Somewhere.
Hmm.
Woody, Clint got something for you while we were out.
For me?
Hmm?
Oh.
She'll put the bowl of nuts on the.
Well, it would have been a bag, because for
Bag.
taking away.
She'll put the bag down and open it up.
Ooh. I gotta go say thank you. And Newman, you kind of hear the squeezes under the door.
Speaking of nuts, by the way, I'm going to also produce the one from the place that was near the
Yeah, Frank's.
Found Frank's.
Yeah.
Of course, you're also
Yeah,
probably
that's-
wondering,
Goes over.
and then, of course, then there's the box, which you didn't really get to ask about, which you're still carrying. Well, Barnabus is, no, Ava's still carrying because she was keeping it close by because she wants to save some for clarity.
What's in the box?
Really good cheesecake. Really, really, really good cheesecake.
All right. Mm. She just sort of.
Ooh.
Yeah, and really superlative strawberry cheesecake.
I like it here.
On a food scale, this place wins.
And given that we are about that time, we will skim over the heading back to the bone orchard and the plantation house they're in, and you don't have to worry about waking anybody up because apparently Niella, who's apparently thinks sleep is for the weak, shows you guys to various rooms. She's figured out that Clarity and Hazel are definitely sharing. Rylan is just shown into a room that apparently Alana has just filled with plants, with a bookshelf. So you've got something to do when when you're done trancing and these guys are still crashed out.
Mhm.
Darvin gets a room sort of up, so he's got a bit more of a view out over the city if he wants to have a look. Barnabas gets a good-sized one with a good-sized bed on the ground floor. And Remi gets... Yeah, while the others who are in rooms of their own have largely got smaller rooms, apparently there is hopefulness enough that Remi's got one that would be comfortable for two. if it ever happens, you guys are gonna need a place to recuperate after this mess. So, rest well. I will take care of breakfast because Alana gets experimental, and sometimes her mushroom omelets are problematic.
Uh-oh.
And with that, leaves you for your 8 hours. She does flag up. Oh, your dragonborn friend. She did come in about a half an hour ago, and she's appropriately crashed. Is fine.
Good. Thank you.
She didn't inhale an entire block's worth of coffee.
Mm,
You know, I think that she's somewhere on the higher end of your common sense scale.
But the curiosity does occasionally bite very hard.
Fair enough, but again, common sense will sometimes trump that for people with any kind of impulse control.
And I'm glad for that.
And you're working on it, I know. Rest well,
Mm.
Clunk. And we'll see, hopefully, all of you in 2 weeks' time to see what you do with all this various bits of information that you have been handed. So, bye, guys.